Hello families. So I'm going to do another video kind of talking through the email I just sent out. We're a little bit off of our Friday afternoon weekly update just because we had a faculty meeting yesterday to kind of discuss through some nuts and bolts ideas, and I wanted to be able to incorporate those ideas into my email and into the video. So that's why we're doing this on a weird Tuesday. So I'm going to talk through everything in the email, and then feel free to comment if you have any comments below. And then also, of course, call or email me anytime that you have any questions. There's a lot of information, so excuse me for talking forever. First things first, we can't have our usual in-person family parent orientation, so we're going to move that virtually. In the email, I have a link. It's a Zoom meeting. And I'm also going to record it, and I'll share that video on our YouTube page, but also on our social media, just to make sure everybody has the chance to see it. If you have any questions right now that you want to be addressed, for sure, go ahead and send those to me. You can comment or message or email or call, so I know to incorporate those. And since it's a Zoom meeting, you can also raise your hand and I can call on you and we can talk it out during the meeting. And then of course, ask all your questions anytime, anyway. That's going to be at 2 o'clock on Sunday, August 9th, and then again, I will record that and share that. That's also going to be helpful, I think, for our families that join mid-year, because they can go back and look at our orientation. They won't miss out on anything. Then, after that, oh no, I lost my email. There it is. This is just our reminder that our classes do resume on August 17th. Yesterday in our faculty meeting, we talked a lot about what's working for us, what's not working for us, and what are we going to do in case of emergency. If we needed to restrict class sizes further, or if we needed to move virtually, all those things that we just don't know the answers to. But I feel at least, a lot more confident moving into it because we have a better plan. So I'm going to read through this briefly. Please bear in mind that we're going to talk about this more in depth during that orientation, and then obviously we'll speak about it more in depth, and you'll have all the information you need before anything changes. So right now we're going to start the year in person. None of our classes are so big that we need to immediately split them. We are having our instructors keep an eye on it though, so if any class feels unmanageable or if we spot some issue that we didn't foresee, we'll communicate what we need to do to fix that, because your dancer safety and your safety is our number one priority. So for now, we're going to go in person. Obviously, unless you've already talked to me about doing Zoom, in which case don't worry about it, it doesn't pertain to you. I am doing a Google Classroom training tomorrow for my day job with Capital Day School. From the feedback I've gotten from some of our older dancers, that feels like the right platform to use for more accountability and for keeping all of our information in one place that's private. So we feel, all of our instructors, that we could move online or partially online, whatever that hybrid class would need to look like, with Google Classroom pretty effectively, pretty much right away. Of course, there's a learning curve, but we feel pretty good about it. If we do need to go virtual, we are assuming we won't have to have absolutely nobody in the studio. That would change things a little bit, but we're assuming we could still have some small classes. So what we would do is we would divide the class into smaller groups based on what the recommendation is. So like a group A and a group B. We would alternate what group comes in every week. So somebody is always physically in the room with the instructor getting that personal feedback in a small enough group that it's safe. And then everybody that's not physically in the studio would be expected to still attend class virtually through Google Meet or Zoom or whatever. Or let us know beforehand so we can record it and give that to that family. If you're not physically in person, then you would have an assignment, which would be like, do this combination from class, record yourself, and send it in, so that we still get that one-on-one feedback time that we get in a physical class. But it's not so overwhelming to try to do it all at once on Zoom or on Google Meet. So that would be our worst case scenario. Obviously that might look different, specifically for like tap classes where the sounds are super important. That might look a little different. For acro, when there's a lot more spotting and contact, that might look different. It might just be like a one kid at a time kind of idea. But we'll communicate what that looks like for your class before anything happens. That this is just our worst case scenario planning. We are moving forward with masks for instructors. All of us are comfortable wearing masks. We're all safe wearing masks. And we're asking pre-pro students to wear them. We're going on the honor system. If you come without a mask, we are assuming that is because your doctor has told you cannot wear one. We don't need an excuse, but we do think that everybody should be following that as closely as they can to keep everybody as safe as possible. Youth, we are not requiring them just because kids tend to mess with them a lot more, and that's upping their contact to their face. We encourage it if your kid can tolerate it and won't mess with it a lot and feels comfortable and you feel comfortable, then definitely wear them. All the assistants in classes are also asked to wear them for our youth classes. Any family members that are coming in or out of the studio, obviously we're asking you to wear those as part of the governor's mandate since we are a business. So also, if in all the studios we have these spaces to the side that aren't in our socially distanced X's and spots, so if a dancer does need to get a drink of water or just breathe without the mask for a second, we're just going to ask them to move to the side to do that, and then we'll have hand sanitizer dispensers and they'll just sanitize their hands and join class again. We're not saying you have to wear your mask and not drink anything and not breathe without it at all the entire class, because that's not really practical for anybody. We are going to go ahead and make a studio-wide rule that we're just not going to talk about who's wearing masks and who's not. We're not going to shame anybody one way or the other. One of the things I'm super proud of with KDA is that we're super inclusive. And what I learned mostly from our Google survey that several of our families participated in, we have a really wide range of comfortability and a really wide range of beliefs. So I think it is safest and best for our dancers' mental health to say, in dance class, we're not going to talk about that. We're just going to assume everybody's doing what they're supposed to do for them that day. That's not to say we're not going to be available if kids need to talk about it. We have a very open door policy and a strong adult to student relationship building. So of course, if somebody's upset and really struggling with mask or no mask and feeling scared or whatever, they still have the space to do that. We're just not going to bully or intimidate or question anybody that doesn't have a mask, and that's just going to be our studio-wide policy. Compassion first, right? We are totally happy to accommodate any families that don't want to do in person and that just want to do Zoom or Google Meet, whatever platform seems to work the best for us. You just have to communicate that to us before, because that means that your instructor has to bring multiple devices with them, because most of us use our phone for music, and it's really impractical to try to Zoom and do music on your phone. So usually we'll need a laptop or another device also. That's totally fine. We want everybody to feel as comfortable as possible. So if you are going to do that, you just need to communicate that to us so we can tell you what we need space-wise and time-wise, and you can tell us what you need on your end. I personally am going to make the recommendation that if you do choose to do an all virtual and no in-person classes, that you're definitely going to want to do assignments, and you're definitely going to want to probably do a couple private lessons just so we can make sure that your dancer is training safely and effectively, because dance does have a great potential for injury if you train incorrectly. So we want to be sure that you are keeping yourself safe in all the ways that encompasses. So that's just my personal recommendation. That's totally at the instructor's discretion on their availability and your availability. You all negotiate that yourself. It's not a studio thing. But if you're going to Zoom in, I do recommend getting some private instruction as well on a regular basis, just to make sure we're safe. Families that are totally not into the virtual Zoom into class thing, I totally understand. I think everybody's got a little bit of burnout with it. We are totally fine with private lessons. Again, that's not a studio thing. We don't profit off of that. That goes directly to the instructor, because our space exists regardless, so it's nice that people are using it. So if you want to do private instruction, just talk to your instructor about it, or have me connect you with the instructor you need for whatever you're going to take. As long as we have time in our schedule and we can do it, all of us are willing to do that, to make sure that everybody still has that opportunity to dance in that outlet. So again, we're going to go over that in much more detail during the orientation, and then before any of that would kick in, any of that worst case scenario stuff. But just so we're all on the same page, we are starting in person. We're recommending masks for everybody, and then requiring without doctor intervention for our pre-pro. We're not going to talk about it in class. We're not going to talk about who's wearing and who's not. We're getting rid of that bullying. And then Zoom and private lessons are always an option. We're going to be as accommodating as we can be during this time to make sure everybody still has this outlet. Okay, so that was a whole bunch. And then on to our studio announcements. We have some good stuff. First of all of our instructors are participating in Safe Sport training. This is a virtual training that helps us spot misconduct and abuse in our students and in our colleagues. So more information is always good. I was really excited that we all were gung-ho about doing it. So all your instructors are just going to get some additional training on making sure we're working the best way we can and as healthily and safely as we can with young athletes, which is what we are. We have also been selected to participate in a pilot program with Yes Arts. I'm going to do an orientation with them, but basically it's going to increase availability of dance classes to an underserved population is the gist of it. So we are super excited that we're one of the after-school activities that was chosen, and that's great in a lot of ways because we get to reach our mission of sharing what we do with the wider community, and we'll have more students coming in and experiencing with us. There's no downside, so we are super proud of that. We've also welcomed a lot of new families even in this really uncertain time, and that is a testament to you all speaking so positively of us. We could not do it without you guys, and we're really excited about all of these new challenges that we're facing, and the fact that we're able to weather the storm, and the fact that we are a young enough and flexible enough student that we can accommodate all of this and figure it out. So thank you all for sticking with us. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to email or call me or message me here. We want to make sure that everybody's being reached as well as they can, since we have such a diverse population. So as always, it's been a pleasure. I will see you all probably Friday with another update, and then if not then, I will see you all in the family orientation on Sunday at 2. So thank you.